Good morning, Uncle Bob, Fly Fishing Mythbusters. And this video might come off as a rant. It's not a rant at all. I do the YouTube thing not to get subscribers, not to get money. I don't know how I would do that. I'm not a pretty girl. I think those are the ones that do the best. But I wanted to cover what my channel's all about, even though I don't get views. I supposedly have 50 subscribers. I don't know that I do. I certainly don't see evidence of that. I get some likes and some comments. Mostly likes when I post little short videos of the fish I catch, flarping or whatever, and that's okay. But I will review the things that my channel is useful for, and we'll start with fly fishing, standard traditional fly fishing. If you comb through my videos, I have the best knots you've never seen before, that I use to tie droppers and loops and leaders, and I get pushed a lot of how-to fly fishing videos now on YouTube because I post my own, and I haven't seen anything that comes close to the stuff that I can teach you, especially if you want to do something like go to the San Juan in New Mexico. And that should be on every trout fisherman's bucket list, and I can show you how to tie size 26 midges, how to get them on your line, how to put the perfect yarn indicator above them. It's all there. I can keep putting that content out, but nobody's asking for it, and I've already posted a lot of it. That's okay. I don't mind. I'd like to know that people get some use out of that, but who cares? I'm basically done with that. Traveling long distances to trout rivers from Texas to get in cold water and wade around, I'm done now. And I'm done with that because of the second usefulness of my channel, and that's flarping. Flarping is catching carp in community lakes. They're all over the place. Carp are in almost all of them. I have a little lake 5 minutes away that I'm the only one that fishes it, and there's 500 places I could sit my chair and catch carp. And the whole fundamental there, most of it comes from the European guys in the sense that you chum a little, right? But you only chum as far as you can throw corn with your hand. And that's all you need to do, because the carp come to your chum. That's it. And you cast into your chum. Sometimes you can chum and cast into it, or you can cast and chum into it. It doesn't make any difference. The carp will come if they're there, and you will catch them. You will catch them on a hair rig, which comes from the European guys, but it's the simplest hair rig you've ever seen. I tie it with a nail knot tool. The minute somebody showed me Euro carping and I saw a guy build a hair rig, I go, I can do that with a nail knot tool in two seconds. And that's what I've done ever since. I've made some modifications. I do now tie a glow bug on that hair rig, and I douse that glow bug when I feel like it with flarping juice. And the best flarping juice that I've developed or found is I just drain the liquid off of a can of hominy and put cinnamon in it, put a little bottle, shake it up, and squirt it on that glow bug. And I think that helps quite a bit. And so, you know, if you go see my shorts, like I caught a 20-inch something carp on a fiberglass fly rod. Now, that's the whole goal here. Am I casting like this? No. And that kind of brings us to fly fishing for carp with a fly. I'd love to be able to do it, but I've learned the hard way that you have to see the carp, you have to see them eat, and you have to set the hook when they eat. And there's no place I know of anywhere near me where I can see carp feed. Just there isn't. Could I go looking for that? Can I pay a guide for that? Maybe, but if the only compromise I'm making is I have to do my flarping cast with my fiberglass fly rod, no. I've done a lot of this. I probably cast as well as most fly fishermen. I got a lot of fly rods. I've been doing it for like 50 years. So yeah, I like to cast a fly rod. I can cast a fly rod for bluegill in my marina or whatever, or for bass, with the poppers that I make. And I just put a video up on how to make poppers out of wine corks, where you take a piece of golf shaft and your drill and you make these cores and you can make poppers, sure. So, I'm not really, flarping's pretty much done. I explain it. I show, do little shorts on the fish, and that's really where I get the most likes. The 15-second videos where, oh, here's a nice looking carp. Okay, that's fine. The final thing that I do, and I'm going to attach a link, is I'm trying to convince people who like to fish, live in Texas, you should buy an old sailboat. And I was talking to my marina manager the other day, and they demolish boats all the time. These old sailboats, right? Nobody's really sailing them much anymore. They're completely seaworthy, but you can buy them for nothing. She said they do an auction, but they don't even get people to to bid on these boats. And if you're gonna pay money for a slip in a marina, and I've seen a lot of the crappie guys do that, they get a covered slip, which is more expensive, by the way, than a sailboat slip. And you can't have a sailboat and a covered slip because it's got a mast going way up. Anyway, they'll cover the slip with a tarp and fish for little crappie. Well, they're not little crappie, they're keeper crappie. A 14-inch crappie is a nice crappie. They're good to eat, but they don't fight at all. You can catch them on 2-pound tests. They're just no challenge at all as far as fighting and landing a fish. And a 20-inch carp, that's a big challenge, and they get a lot bigger when I fish the big lake. And that brings me to this third thing, is that if you're in a marina, if you have a slip in a marina, you can be catching carp and buffalo. And I just don't see anybody doing it, ever. I'm the only one in my marina that does it. And it's just a blast. So look at the link. I'm going to check after I post the link if it works. But the link is a blog written by a guy, Freshwater Phil, and he's a carp guide. He's in Canada, and he wanted to catch a buffalo. That was on his bucket list. And his blog basically explains the whole trip. And he caught a lot of buffalo. He learned a lot. He taught me some things. But basically, because I got the question, do you catch carp in the winter? It was 6 degrees. This was like the nastiest cold spell we've had. Well, not the nastiest. We've had some really bad ones here, but it was a really nasty cold spell. And because I'm in my sailboat, and it's got a cabin, and it's got a heater, and we had tequila, we could basically fish in the warm, have a good time, and then run out the boat, right, when one of the fish got hooked up. And I'm just trying to tell you guys, it's just there for you if you're like me and you don't want to take that 13-hour drive to go find some cold trout river. And I say cold, you can go in the summer, go to Colorado. I fish Colorado in the summer. That's when it's After the runoff, it's a great place to go, but you're dealing with crowds there. And so I guess the final thing I want to add here is that I watch carp fishing videos, and I can't learn anything from, catch carp with a fly. I can't learn anything that I don't already know. I know tons of stuff about fly fishing, and if you can't see the fish, you can't catch it on a fly. So that just eliminates all that. Now, over to the Euro side of the things, the Euro fishing with spin gear, I try to watch those videos, and I watched one this morning, and it's a cool dude. I can understand him. Some of the ones from England, I can't even understand what the people are saying. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. But this guy has a good presentation, and he's been carp fishing a long time. And the reason I looked for that video is I got the question about, well, can you catch carp in the cold from one of my subscribers? And I just basically answered him yes, because I have. But look at the link that I put in here. It's Freshwater Phil's blog. He describes the whole episode, the 5 or 6 days we fished together in the freezing cold off the sailboat in the marina. And if that's on your bucket list, well, get a hold of me. If you can get to the Dallas area, you can be fishing for buffalo. Now, you don't want to do it for one day. And the reason is you have to chum a lot more in the big lake, right? And I'm just about ready to do that. And the reason I'm just about ready to do that is, like, I went fishing on my little lake today, and it was really windy, and the turtles were just terrible. And if it's not a nice weather day, I'm not going to go flarping on the little lake. I like it when there's no wind, and, I can tell if a turtle bit me, and I can bait up again. In the wind, I just can't tell. And so today, and I'm not happy, I got skunked, and I don't like to make videos on days I got skunked, but I got skunked because every time I brought my rig in, all my bait was gone, and I never saw any indication that I was getting bit. And that just means the turtles are just there chomping, and because the wind's blowing a little bit, I can't tell. So I'm just coming back in because I haven't seen anything. All my baits are gone. That means I'm not having enough time with my rigs intact in the water to catch carp. And that means I'm going out to the boat, and I'm going to start chumming, and hopefully I'll have some of those short videos real soon with big buffalo. Okay, so that's my next goal. So if you see me fishing conventional spinning gear off the back of my boat, that's because it's time for me to catch and show you a big buffalo. Hope that helps. Check out the link. It's a good read. If Freshwater Phil ever runs into this, well, say hey.